Hello everybody, my name is Ross Madden. I'm a 24-year-old proud American with a big heart. Currently I tutor mathematics and I make economics videos. The math covers the bills, it's part-time, while the economics videos are really my passion, my life work. And this video is my case for Donald Trump, which is extremely important to hear now because there's only 3 weeks until the election. And this is an extremely critical election. About 2 months ago, I hosted what I call Trump Pancakes. I showed up in the middle of a public park in VCU campus with a table, a camp stove, and a big Trump flag, and I cooked pancakes for VCU students and a couple homeless people. They loved the pancakes. We had chocolate chips and maple syrup, but what people really came out for was to talk. The whole point was to start a political discussion that I felt was really lacking due to the divisiveness of the candidates and the media during this election cycle. So in the morning I saw people taking pictures of me, and pretty soon I was on social media, and at one point 30-something people were all out debating politics in the park. So I've been back once a week ever since. This is Ross with Trump Pancakes, and we've had a very successful morning so far. Sold probably 30 pancakes, 40 pancakes, and had lots of long discussions with some VCU students. And there have been a lot of people walking around, taking pictures. The classes are changing right now, so we're cooking pancakes. This is a big fluffy one. Are you interested in a pancake, my man?
Yeah.
Yeah? I've got a huge one for you right now. The stakes of this election could not be any higher. Both the left and the right live in echo chambers of their own opinion that slanders the opponent and their basket of deplorables, so people are either very politically outspoken or, in response, pretty apathetic. People don't want to be a part of a movement that makes Americans so angry. But at the same time, this election is impossible to avoid, and the consequences of this election will be completely impossible to avoid. So what I really try to do is offer a safe space where anyone can feel brave and speak about their beliefs. People have gotten pretty personal. Every once in a while, a complete stranger will come by to let something off of his chest and will walk away with a pound of flesh on my table.
I did watch the last debate. I was coming in and out of it. I don't think a lot of answers were. I didn't get answers to my questions.
What are your major questions?
My major questions, I want to hear the politicians. I want to hear. Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about the moderators, because they're not, in my opinion, not doing a good job. They're asking a lot of pop culture, just social questions that don't really focus on, what are you going to do for the economy? What are you going to do for jobs? Okay, I understand ISIS this. And so, how are you going to regulate the economy? How are you going to do this? And how are you going to, fix the problems that we're in?
I hear a lot of different opinions. I really have a good idea of the VCU Wednesday morning crowd. I could tell you how they feel about Trump, whether they're going to vote, how many chocolate chips they like on their pancakes.
Oh, we can do this and this. The income equality is just, we can fix it all. I'm well, I get that, but you're not really a person to talk.
And I also field a ton of questions, the big one being, why do you like Trump? I don't necessarily share a lot in common with my audience, so before I tell them why it is I like Trump, I like to tell them what it is that I want, and I tell them what I really want is a thriving jobs market full of full-time, high-paying jobs with benefits so that I can afford to buy a house someday and raise a happy family. That's all that I want. And I want that for my friends, and I want that for all those VCU graduates who are facing a tough job market right now. That's the thing, is Trump says we need to pull up the bottom. We need to make the lower class have jobs and the ability to make themselves middle class and make themselves rich, and the middle class make themselves upper class. But Hillary's we gotta
bring everybody together.
We got to bring everyone together. And if we're going to have those great jobs, then we're going to need a competitive economy that encourages all sorts of startups to grow. We don't need an economy full of businesses struggling to decide which positions are essential and which positions are disposable. A perfect example of the government absolutely killing American businesses and destroying jobs is this FLSA update, the Fair Labor Standards Act. Have you heard about this? Essentially, it's a $47,500 minimum wage for salaried workers. If you make less than $47,500, you are automatically eligible for overtime pay, which is time and a half after 40 hours. This is already happening. This has already been signed in by Obama. It goes into effect on December 1st. If you make less than $47,500, you will have to do the whole clock in, clock out business, and a manager will have to come behind you and double check your hours so that nobody cheats. Employers may have to cut hours or staff in order to afford the mandated raises. This is going to devastate businesses. I physically hurt. My heart aches for all of the people who are going to lose their jobs because of this terrible, terrible law. And I have nothing but sympathy for all of the managers who have to choose between which of their employees to give raises to and which to give the boot. This is precisely the kind of law that Trump would never, ever stand for. He will immediately abolish these terrible laws that stand between Americans and successful jobs. Obama seems to think he's helping.
America's economy is not just better than it was 8 years ago. It is the strongest, most durable economy in the world.
But Obama's economically challenged, and somebody needs to tell him to please stop helping. When he speaks about the economy, he pats himself on the back about the 5% unemployment rate.
By almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here at the beginning of my presidency. That's the truth. That's true.
But he never talks about the interest rates. He definitely never brags about how he quintupled the money supply. Do you remember QE? Remember the stimulus spending? How all of that money was printed out of thin air and poof, gone just as fast as it came. And it didn't fix anything. All it did was delay the day of the true recession until Obama can get out of office and blame his terrible economic policies on Donald Trump. You mark my words, that will happen. Obama displayed a depressing lack of empathy for the American workers. We have an insurmountable debt and unfunded liability problem. Our federal taxes are already higher than they have ever been, and our middle class is struggling to save enough for retirement. We really need a president who's going to face our problems head on and tell us the truth. While Hillary's emails are being read out online, she is nowhere to be found. She's underground somewhere, hiding from the firestorm of incriminating questions. That's not the Trump way, and that's definitely not the American way. Leaders run towards fires to put them out, not away from them. Trump, the moment his tapes from 11 years ago came out, he hosted a midnight press conference apologizing for his rude remarks. He addresses his most important problems immediately and aggressively. That's what makes him a problem solver, and he understands our economy. And right now, our economy is bleeding out on the operating table. We don't care what our surgeon said a decade ago. We care that he knows how to use a scalpel, although his hands should stay clean. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave your comments below and share if you found the arguments compelling. I hope you have an epic day. This is Ross Madden signing off. We have a presidential debate on Wednesday. I cannot wait to see what comes next.